What's something that sounds horrible, but is actually pleasurable once you try it? Having an abscess tooth extracted. Before the procedure, it was the most painful thing I've ever experienced. I went in to have it pulled and the dentist tried to explain to me that they could save the tooth blah blah blah. I was in so much pain I just said, "Take it out please." They numbed me up but it didn't touch the pain I was in. After a few minutes of them playing around in my mouth with a pick and pliers, I started to feel pressure on my jaw and the tooth popped out. The dentist was surprised and said, "Yeah, I bet that feels better." He said a bunch of infection came out, which is what he was vacuuming out. Immediate relief. Like no pain at all. Relief to the point that I was in ecstasy. I almost cried. D&D. I had a friend who, for literally years, would try and get the rest of us to play. It was a hard pass from me every Friday for about 3 years. I had no interest in sitting around and pretending to be a fucking elf or whatever with 18 apostrophes in my name, all with stacks of rule books that are inches thick. No, thank you. Life's too short. Then I tried it, and of course it's wonderful. Sit around, chill with your friends, drink some beers, eat some fancy cheese, kill some imaginary goblins. Skydiving. You do feel nervous the first time right before you jump out of the plane, but after that the rush is amazing and lasts for a couple hours. Throwing up when you have an upset stomach. It sucks before and during, but after you feel so much better. Obviously sometimes that's not the case, but I remember times when I ate something bad and was in bad stomach pain, until I vomited and felt instant relief. Getting up the first time your alarm goes off instead of hitting snooze. It gives you more time to get ready and wake up for the day. This sounds disgusting, but definitely delivering your placenta after giving birth. You'd think it would hurt just as bad, or that you'd feel relief from popping an 8 pounds human out of your now very sore genitals, but nope. No relief until the placenta just slides out. And then it feels like someone's been standing on your chest for 9 months and you can finally breathe again. I felt light as a f***ing feather. Insta satisfying. 10/10 recommend. The kid's alright too, I guess. Sacrificing comfort in exchange for change. It's like getting out of the lukewarm bath before it gets cold. Sure, you're comfortable now, but if you give it up as a choice before it gets cold, then you'll feel much better. Switching your phone off for an entire weekend. Or if I have a small errand to run, I forget my phone at home and just hop in the car and go. My TENS unit. Sending small electrical shocks through your muscles sounds like torture. But when you set it up right, there is a twinge of pain and then it subsides. It's great. Sensory deprivation tanks. You strip down and get in a tank of body temperature salt water. The room is soundproof and pitch black. You just lie there for a bit and hallucinate. It sounds terrifying, especially for people with claustrophobia, but it's an incredible experience unlike anything I'd ever done before. I highly suggest everyone try it. A pickleback. Taking a shot of whiskey and then a shot of pickle brine doesn't sound like a good time. However, unless you simply dislike the taste of pickles, it's awesome. It seems as though the brine somehow neutralizes the whiskey. My girlfriend, who otherwise hates any sort of shot or straight liquor, and otherwise isn't a big drinker at all, will do 3 picklebacks in a row. Divorce. At first, I thought we didn't have to do something so drastic. I wasn't positive I would be able to get through my darkest days. Now, I'm glad I went through all of it, having become much stronger as an individual. Riding your bike long distances. It won't be pleasurable until you condition your butt and build your baseline, but once you do, a ride through the countryside at a leisurely pace is one of life's great pleasures, and will inevitably make you feel like a kid again. Public bathhouse in Japan, or onsen. I don't think it qualifies as sounding horrible, but I think a lot of people feel uncomfortable getting naked and bathing alongside strangers. However, once you get over the initial jitters, it's absolutely amazing. No one cares, no one is judging, everyone is just enjoying the amazing hot spring. Our most recent visit was the Iwo bathhouse and we spent almost the entire day there. It was like a glorious spa day. Haggis. I think a lot of tourists assume this isn't really eaten in Scotland, but rather a myth to trick visitors, but it is genuinely so good. If you go to a fish and chip shop in Scotland they'll do you a haggis supper, which is haggis dipped in batter, deep fried and served with chips. More like it looked horrible because I'm a light beer drinker, but I tried a Guinness once and it was delicious and I spent the entire drink experience being pleasantly amazed. I thought I was going to have to chew it. My daughter accidentally scratched my eye pretty badly a few years ago, leaving a crescent-shaped cut in my cornea. The ER doctor told me to put some Visine on it, and it'd go away by morning. I spent the night in escalating/excruciating pain, and went to a proper eye guy first thing. I was already freaking out about the pain, and definitely didn't want someone mucking about in there, but he convinced me to let him put in a bandage lens, like a contact lens, but thicker, and it holds the flap made by the cut down. Right before he put it in, he stopped and said, "I want you to remember this moment." And I will, because it was like a light switch turning off. First, blinding pain so bad I wanted to vomit, followed by absolutely nothing. No hurt. I had to wear an eye patch for a couple of days. That's it. Cliché, but the first roller coaster ride at an amusement park. The first one you haven't experienced the stomach drop in a while, and your heart is hammering and your knees are shaking a bit and your friends are square, and you immediately say the front and mentally shoot yourself in the mouth for your stupidity. You get to the front of the line and one of your friends takes all the stuff and says he'll see you guys when you finish. You wish you could join him. A bored employee straps you in and fear takes your heart and makes a stress ball out of it. You are pleading to God that the roller coaster doesn't kill you. You don't even believe in God. You're at the top of the hill now and holy shit, then just pure f-king ecstasy. The ride finishes and you turn to your friend, a giant blinding smile painting itself across every inch of your face, and you say, "Can we go again?" Great feeling, really. Drilling a hole through your fingernail. I had my thumb crushed by a winch handle and it started bleeding under my thumbnail, and swelling straight away, and it was very painful. I started to drill the nail and then chickened out. Then next morning I woke up in extreme pain from my entire hand and couldn't move my thumb. The pressure of the swelling was slowly pushing my thumbnail off, so that gave me the courage to drill it, and as it broke through the nail blood squirted everywhere, and the pressure was relieved. Then sensation of relief was amazing. 10/10 would drill hole in my fingernail again. Backpacking. Carrying your food, shelter, and necessities for upwards of 15 miles a day until you drop, eating dehydrated food, not knowing when you'll come across water again and what condition it'll be in, sweating and stinking for days. I f-king love it. I love the silence, the time alone with my thoughts, enjoying nature. My needs are simple: walk, eat, drink water. And the burger, beer, and shower I have when I get back to civilization are more enjoyable than the finest meal I've ever eaten. This'll probably get buried, but only washing your hair once or twice a week. Every time I tell someone about that routine they're grossed out, but after the initial week or two of only shampooing every few days and hiding your greasy hair under hats, it begins to adjust to less frequent washing, and before you know it, you can go an entire week looking like you just washed your hair that morning. It's helped me save so much time getting ready in the morning and also brought out the natural texture of my hair like never before. Magic mushrooms. You have to eat mushrooms that don't taste good. They don't taste neutral like food mushrooms, they taste pretty gross. If you got dried mushrooms, you might rehydrate them, and then you're eating what looks and smells like a rotting, smelly, chewy slug. You're gonna get nauseous, you might throw up, your stomach will feel like it's full of drunk bumblebees. There's a good chance you could have a panic attack. There's a small chance you could have one of the most terrifying experiences of your entire life. There's a very small chance you may become so terrified that you are a threat to yourself or others. It's a roller coaster that lasts 4 to 6 hours, and once it starts, you can't get off. Also, you can't sleep. And yet it might very well be one of the most important, life-changing experiences you ever have. Deleting Facebook and other social media. I deleted pretty much all my social media accounts starting with Facebook. It has been absolutely f***ing amazing. I don't deal with family political ignorance, drama of people and their relationships, and the massive privacy violations of them. As a nice additive benefit, it makes for an interesting conversation topic when people try to Facebook stalk me and can't find me.